Dạ vâng, chào các bạn. Hôm nay là tối thứ tư, Khải không có ghé lên trên hội đồng thành phố để mà họp trực tiếp livestream chương trình ở đó được. Thành ra Khải sẽ ở nhà để xem và coi như là sẽ chia sẻ với các bạn suy nghĩ của mình, cũng như sẽ dịch sơ những cái điểm chính trong cái cuộc họp, hoặc là những cái điểm chính của những người cư dân phát biểu bằng tiếng Anh. Dạ vâng, mời các bạn theo dõi cái phần mà Khải thâu lại từ cái buổi họp trong Hội đồng thành phố vào thứ Tư ngày 27 tháng 7 năm 2022. Xin mời các bạn theo dõi. Các bạn nhớ chịu khó đăng ký, ghi danh, chia sẻ, quảng bá, cũng như là nói vài tiếng giới thiệu với bạn bè, nói vài tiếng tốt để giới thiệu với bạn bè cái kênh của Khải trên YouTube, cũng như là nếu mà được thì like để mà Khải có thể bắt đầu livestream những chương trình đều đặn hơn để mà cùng chia sẻ với các bạn.
Good evening. I'd like to reconvene City Council Success Agency to the Westminster Redevelopment Agency meeting right now, 7:07 p.m. Wednesday, July 27, 2022. Roll call, please.
Thank you. Mayor Ta,
Here.
Vice Mayor Manzo,
Here.
Councilmember Doe,
I'm here.
Councilmember Ho,
Here.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
So we good. So next we have oral communication.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a time that the members of the public may come forward and address the City Council regarding any items on the agenda or not on the agenda, but within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Any person wishing to address the council will be, has filled out a speaker card, and we will be contacting you to come forward and speak.
So now I'd like to open oral communication.
Đây là lúc mà những quý vị nào muốn phát biểu thông tin cho chúng tôi biết.
First speaker is Albert Liu. Please come forward.
My name is Albert Liu. I am a construction plan designer as well as a homeowner here in the city of Westminster. My property is located here in 15th Street, just a few walks from here. I am a construction plan designer as well as a homeowner here in the city of Westminster. My property is located here in 15th Street, just
Ok, mình không có đến tham dự nha, thành ra mình chỉ livestream cái buổi họp và bây giờ đang phát biểu. Đây là gần những người đầu tiên phát biểu trong cái buổi họp tối nay. Có lẽ là họ phát biểu về vấn đề Airbnb.
In compliance and consistent with the neighborhood, especially it's close to the city hall here. And when I approached the planning department with my proposal to build an additional ADU as well as an SP9 unit, which allows by state law, and the planning department denied my case just because there's a local ordinance from the city of Westminster that only allow either the ADU or the SP9. But according to the state law, which I have the city clerk to answer you, on page 6, it says very clearly, and then I highlighted that. It say that local agency, or another word, the city of Westminster must allow, in addition to the ADU, the SB9 unit. So in short, the local ordinance is contradicting with the state law. So I just want to bring my case here to see if the council has comment on the annual case.
Yes, I really appreciate your comment and really thank you for your time for being here and raise your concern. However, our city manager, our staff, we are having with you tomorrow morning or yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
The next speaker is Michael Tilsley.
Thank you for seeing me. My name is Michael Tilsley. I live at 7721 Benton Avenue, Westminster. And I've been there since 1995 when I bought my home there. One of the reasons we're coming tonight is we're having issues with homeless people behind the property. We're also having issues with Walmart and Costco. And I just want to go over a few points with you. I have spoken with Vice Mayor Manzo, and he came to my house this week, and we had a conversation, and I'm sure he's informed you guys. The problem is I've been in with Caltrans. I've got a hold of Nathan Abler, who's the Public Information Officer with Caltrans, District 12, and they've cleaned all the storm drain out. They've got rid of all the bulrushes that were 5 feet high. And they've really done a good job cleaning it up. The problem is the fences, both ends, are damaged or non-existent, so the homeless people keep coming back. So I feel they're doing is spinning the wheels. So number one, I noticed today that on Hoover, they fixed the fence. They repaired the chain link fencing. The fencing that's of concern belongs to the property of Westminster Gateway, which Walmart and Costco lease. Their boundary wall that goes all the way from the residence all the way up to Beach Boulevard. There's about 50 yards just completely rotten with the sprinklers, and there's 6-foot holes. And I gave the Vice Mayor showed him pictures of the holes. So the homeless are coming in there and then in camping, they can walk all the way down to Hoover, and that's where they're camping. And if you look where their boat defence goes, it shortens up near the freeway. There's a fence that needs to go north and south to stop people coming from the beach, so they can't go any farther. And if they put a fence there, Walmart fix their fence, problem solved. That's the homeless problem, and that is the issue. And I'm speaking on behalf of a bunch of people who live on Benton. Can you guys live on Benton or Jasper to raise your hand? So see, these are some of the neighbours. And we've had meetings in the past. We had an attorney at the last meeting. And I don't want to go into a lawsuit, but if I don't see anything happening, I feel we need to go in a lawsuit with Westminster City, we need to go with Costco, we need to go with Walmart. The other problem with Costco and Walmart, I was involved in 1997 when the drive-in converted to Walmart. And there's people here tonight that were with me in 97. And we had a deal that the city ordinance, no loading and unloading between 9 p.m. at night and 8 a.m. in the morning. That is happening all the time. They're banging containers, waking people up. And it's only happened since Costco was there. So I'm wondering if anybody ever told Costco.
Also, I think that our city staff will contact you tomorrow or maybe later.
And I know that it's been talked about before. Even Vice Mayor says he's even called up and complained about the noise. And I'm sure most of the people up here. So it's not being enforced. I mean, it's a city ordinance. It needs to be enforced. Just like the light on the side, that's supposed to go out at 9 p.m. That's another city ordinance that was discussed in 1997. So that's why Westminster City is going to become involved in the lawsuit, because you're not enforcing the city ordinances. And finally, my last thing, well, I've got a minute now. I know you guys have been going over a monument thing. I don't know the ins and outs. I don't want to get involved in it. But I'm from England, as you can probably tell. And this city was named after Westminster of England. So I think what I'd like, I'm homesick, just like the Vietnamese are. So I'd like a castle. Is it okay if we build a castle in Westminster somewhere? Now, who on there thinks this is the stupidest thing you've heard tonight? I'll start it off. I think it's stupid. You guys agree? It's about as stupid as the monument. When you got no money, why are we spending money? I just watched the last town meeting you had on TV a couple of nights ago, and you spent a amount of time on talking about where's it going to go, where's it going to go. They asked the mayor to make a decision. The mayor came around and said, well, I think we need to give it back to the committee. Let the committee come up with advice.
Time's up.
And we'll continue. And the city.
Your time's up. So,
Why did we let the committee make a decision
the
when that's what you guys are paid for? We don't
time's
need to.
up. Thank you, sir.
The next speaker is Salvan Pham.
Tôi có một câu hỏi cho thị trưởng với phó thị trưởng với hai nghị viên của thành phố Westminster là người Việt Nam.
I have a question for the mayor, vice mayor, and the two city councilors who are Vietnamese descent.
Có biết là bây giờ người Việt mà vô gia cư ở vùng Phước Lộc Thọ rất là đông không quý vị?
You know that there are many homeless who are of Vietnamese descent around the Asian Garden Mall.
Quý vị có thể giải quyết được những người mà vô gia cư đó được không quý vị?
We solve the homeless problem.
Thì thứ nhất là tôi muốn nghe từ những bốn quý vị người Việt.
I would like to hear, first of all, from the four members of the city council who are of Vietnamese descent.
Yes, so I really appreciate your comment, but this is a time for you to raise your concerns, and we're here to listen to your concerns.
Thì bây giờ là cái lúc nào anh? Bây giờ là cái lúc nào?
So if not now, then when?
So this is the time that it's oral communication, so this is the public's time to communicate with the council members, but they are not allowed to engage in conversation because it's not an item on the agenda.
Tức là luật sư Huỳnh Tuấn Kiệt đang cần giải thích cho cái ông này phát biểu đó là mình nói thôi chứ còn
cái lúc mà
người ta sẽ không trả lời mình.
Mà chưa bao giờ tôi thấy người Việt mà vô gia cư mà nằm la liệt ở Phước Lộc Thọ hay này.
I'm doing this because I see that in Westminster, especially around the Asian Garden Mall, there has never been so many homeless people like there are now.
Thành thử đó, tôi có đặt một câu hỏi, đó là cái bộ mặt của thành phố Westminster là cái khu Phước Lộc Thọ mà nó quá đông người Việt vô gia cư đi. Từ năm 75 giờ tôi thấy bây giờ là người Việt vô gia cư quá đông này. Thì tại sao cái đó là cái mà những người nghị viên thành phố tại sao không giúp người ta để người ta khỏi phải vấn đề vô gia cư?
For 7, amendment number 2 to remand with Cheryl now for technical and analytical services.
Move to approve.
Second. Right, we have a motion and second to approve.
Thank you. That motion was made by Councilmember Nguyen, seconded by Councilmember Doe, to authorize the city manager to execute amendment number 2 to the professional services agreement with Cheryl Nault for technical and analytical services in an amount not to exceed $150,000 for the 2022 and 2023 fiscal year. Councilmember Doe?
Yes.
Councilmember Ho?
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Manzo?
Yes.
Mayor Ta?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, so next we have commission and committee items. We continue 7.1, continue from July 13, 2022 meeting. Feasibility study for potential location of the Wang Chi Monument. So I don't think we need a staff report, am I correct? So all members of the council, we already discussed this item last meeting, or if,
So
Yes, Mayor.
all right, so staff report.
No, I have questions.
Okay, please.
Okay. Just so that, before we vote, I want to clarify myself, I have to know what I'm voting for. I have a little concern when I receive an email from one of the committee member, which is Mr. Robinson. And you stated that you want to resign from the committee. And, I understand if you resign committee because of different reasons than, family or, works or whatever reason, then I understand. But reading your email here, you said that the committee did not follow and honor the task put in front of us. And you go on and say, is the history, about the history of it. And our last meeting here, we, I abstained my vote for the reason. But last meeting here, the council decided to vote for the depiction of the design. And the decision based on the condition that both of you, Mr. Huang and Mr. Robinson, agreed to that. I didn't hear a solid agreement there. That's why I'm kind of questioning about it. But was that, can I ask you to come to the podium, please? Is that okay or no? So I don't mean to come back this one, but I just want to make sure that, the agreement, the condition, the approval was based on the condition. And the condition that you and Mr. Huang agree on putting on something, right? I don't remember exactly. But was that agreement still on, or is it okay to
No,
resolve or no?
Okay, the agreement's on, the depiction and design is approved.
Okay, that's all I want to clarify. Thank you very much.
All right, City Council, any question, any concerns, or any?
I just had a
Lecture?
I think where we left off last time was the mayor had recommended set up a, I don't know how this was going to happen, but I think we were talking about community input, Mayor. Is that what you had? From what I remember, what you had recommended. So how would that? What are we? How is that going to look? I mean, how will we do that?
I don't know. I don't know the rest of the City Council right now, but if Now, if the majority of the city council or if the rest of the city council approve with my recommendation, so then we leave that to our city manager, because our city manager, I think that she will have a solution unless our city council will provide her with our proposal regarding that matter.
So yes, so where we left last meeting was that there was a discussion about community outreach, in which I did say that, you know, again, our staff is capable, but we just don't have the time or the resources. That being said, same thing with any community outreach effort. We can look at, you know, a group that can do the effort. I would just again need parameters on what kind of community outreach you guys would be looking to do and what we would be asking essentially.
No, I myself, I really don't think we need to drag this on simply because, you know, we made a commitment to, you know, I think it was basically we keep punting it here and there and we trying to avoid making a decision. And, you know, no one wants to drag this on, but I think it's on us if we keep dragging it on. You know, we have to go the most roundabout way to make a decision. And that is not the committee's fault. It's on us. So.
Well, I recommended, I mean, we have to look, I mean, let's get down to the facts. We know for a fact, based on staff reports and what our population is and how much parkland we need to have and how much parkland we're short of. I mean, I don't know if Jake or somebody can just tell me if you know off the top of your head what that number is of how much underparked we are. I mean,
we are significantly under the recommendation of 3 acres per 100,000. 100. It's either 1,000 or 100,000. 1,000 residents. So well below that, well below the county average, almost at the bottom if we were to rank all cities.
so that is pretty significant. I mean, we need to realize that this is a permanent decision. This is not a 10 by 10 little, you know, square that we're gonna take up. This is huge. I mean, this is significantly, we know what parks. We just came from a park. This week we had a ribbon cutting for our new playground at Westminster Park. And I can't imagine placing something this large on a park. I mean, all our parks are small. We're way underparked. And can you imagine placing something this large and impacting not just the people who would be using the park, but also the surrounding communities around the park? That is a permanent life change. I don't know about you guys, but I could not sleep well knowing that it completely changed the life of all the people who live around these parks. They would be coming out and just be hating life. They would be hating every single day that they wake up and look at it. They would be hating life, that they would having impact with the parking around their community, around the front of their houses. This is a significant decision to impact people's lives permanently. I've been supportive of this project. I think we've, like I said before, I've always wanted this to be a collaboration with ARVN veterans, American Vietnam veterans, with the original Country Victory Foundation, and that didn't happen. And I think that we've given an opportunity for the ARVN veterans and community members to have a place for input at the committee meetings, for the American Vietnam veterans to have input, be able to to look out for what is right, to honor American military contribution. So I felt that I have, but we have to really look at this, and if we need to pick a spot, we need to pick a spot where it's going to be the less impact on the community, and where we're not going to take up what little park space we have. Parks are, and parks are meant for recreation. The Point 3 committee members know, because they've realized that placing it at a public park puts the monument at risk of vandalism and the safety of this monument. That they know that, and I agree with them that it would be impacted. Many community members have mentioned, what would happen, the potential for, the homelessness issue that's around our parks, that they would love to have a monument like this where they can make a nice shelter for themselves around this monument. That's gonna happen because it's happening now. That's just a no-brainer. That's gonna happen. And I am concerned about the integrity of the monument, to keep it. This monument is supposed to last for a generation, to be there for the next generation to learn from it. And if you place it at a public park where it's going to be vandalized, damaged, so that's taken away from from what it's intended for. Is intended there for the younger generation. So why not place it at a place where it's going to be safe? It's going to be safe from vandalism. It's going to be safe from folks, climbing on it. Homeless people's living in it. So to me, it's still, no matter which way you look at it, you can tell yourself anything you want to tell yourself, but at the end of the day, it's safer at Westminster Memorial Park. I understand the committee members don't want to see that, but that is, if you care about the integrity of this monument, that is the safest place. That's just, nothing's going to happen to it there. At the Memorial Park, it's people go there to pray, people go there to honor those the loved ones they've lost. It's a place of solemn sanctuary, and this is what this monument is supposed to be. It's supposed to be there to remember those who paid the ultimate price, to honor them, and to read about the history of it. And no matter which way you look at it, that is the safest place. And it's gonna not take away from the community. Public parks, they're there for they're for recreation, but public parks and open spaces are there for the mental health, the social and economic vitality of the community. We need open space as much as possible. They're meant to be enjoyed. They're meant to go out there and with your families and laugh and play and have a good time. And if you go to cities like, I'll use New York, for instance, they have to search and search and search for somewhere where they can go and, shoot basketball or, roller skate, do whatever, play, baseball, something. It's like here, it's the same thing. We're just so park it's insufficient. We need more open space. We need more parks. We can't take away from the community. The Westminster Park, it's meant, we went there, and it has it was designed and improved to help the people with disabilities to enjoy it, and then we're going to place an obstacle in their way. I don't know. To me, it's not something I want to. I understand that some people are going to get mad at me, but sitting up here, you have to really think about the community all the community as a whole. How is our decision going to impact the whole community, the whole city. And this is a permanent decision. And I don't know, but it's just I couldn't live with myself knowing that I totally changed the life for the negative to all the any residents living around any public park. I could not live with myself knowing that I made their quality of life. I impacted their quality of life negatively. I could not do that. So to me, if you want to make a decision of where to put it, if you don't want to take the mayor's recommendation for public input, then I still stick to the Memorial Park.
So do we have any other comment from other council member?
You know, I think it's rather irresponsible of you, Mr. Monzo, to be making, this statement now after the monument has been built or being built and about to be finished. And I think that I just want to remind everyone that we've already put a moratorium on, on building more monuments. And basically, if I didn't stand up to protect your, to protect you, your, the Arvin group, as well as the group that was involved, the American group, to support you in having this second chance, then you can say that I didn't stand up for you, but I stood up and you gave your vote, okay, to put a stop to the other monument. And when the opponents put our faces on the U-Haul truck and rode around town, I was very upset that they did so, stating what they stated, that we wanted, the three of us wanted to just not build the monument, wanted to tear down the monument, yuksap, which is what would be the translation, we wanted to tear down the monument. So that was the way they put it. So I went on and I defended you, and I stated that that's not exactly what we were doing. We were only trying to be fair. Okay, we wanted to give the people a second chance, and to come out and work together. And so they worked very hard together. And you even stated that you wanted to talk about, you wanted to have a committee that's going to look at all the parks, our parks, not someone else's parks. And I just think that to put them through this whole exercise to now it becomes a reality that you want to tear down the monument. I don't want them to say that, but that's exactly what is going on now.
Let me say this real quick, since
let me just
say this, because
Yeah.
this is really upsetting me now, is that, we talk about, and we have veterans here in our presence today. Here we have, I'm going to just use the Vietnam War.
But can I finish? Because I don't think, I mean, I already gave
you're
you,
accusing me of
gave
something
you
that,
time to
but
talk.
yeah,
You
but you're
gotta wait
accusing me
until
of
I-
something.
You gotta wait
Hey,
until
let
I'm
me tell you
finished.
something. You talk about people are going to be telling lies about us. Here we have veterans who stood up to tyranny, who stood up to against communism, who fought probably against a regime that was at the time more powerful. Here, these men stood up to that, and you're saying that we here as council can't even stand up to a bunch of lies? Here, these people stood up to communism. They're the brave ones. You're saying that we can't even stand up to lies. So that what makes us? We're a bunch of cowards, that we can't even stand up to a bunch of people telling lies about us.
Well, okay, I mean, I'm
hate
just,
myself to say that I was so scared because somebody's going to tell a lie about me. And here I'm in the presence of people who stood up and fought in a war, and I can't even stand up to a bunch of lies. Then that would make me a coward. If they want to say whatever they want to say about me,
that's okay.
if they want to
I
recall
understand. I'm
me,
just telling
I got
you.
threats again today
Yeah.
about a recall. You know what? If you don't like me, don't vote for me. If you don't like my decision, go ahead and recall me. You know, see if I care.
Right. So I'm just saying that the park situation hasn't changed. Okay. It didn't change overnight. And that is a situation about being park deficit has been going on. And it was like that at the time you decided to approve this for our city to take on this project, to cancel the other. And so, you know, we as a council gave the okay. 5 out of 5 gave the okay for the other monument to be built. You understand the situation, why we brought it back and we took over. Okay, I don't want to have to go back and remind you.
No,
you know,
I don't.
But I'm just saying that I don't want to have to keep bringing this issue back. I mean, I don't think that our constituents want to hear about it either. But it's when you punt it onto, you go do the roundabout, and I'm just thinking, you have to, be responsible. You have to be very, you never stated, and you never stated anything about being park deficit or anything like that. That was the situation back then. You never brought that up. And then you all of a sudden at the very last minute in May, you said, oh, can you look into that? And then decide that you're going to go with maybe the few constituents that have pressured you. But I'm saying that I really don't want to, I'm repeating, I don't want to keep having to bring back this issue or this agenda. But I'm just saying that this is how things evolve. And we're here because of what we gave the vote, what we did, and what we weren't. We said, okay, I interviewed every single group, and I even knew, out of respect for the U.S. veterans, I did say that, hey, I'm going to keep. I may not vote for Freedom Park, but to not be in any park at all, that is irresponsible. And so, like I said, you knew that in December. If you had, last June. So if you had said, well, we're a park deficit, so therefore we're not gonna, we're gonna do away with this agenda and we're not gonna have it in any of our park. Okay, then that would have been a different story. Now they've moved on, they did what we said. They worked together, they came to an agreement, and then you make them go through that whole exercise and to come to a conclusion that you don't want it in any parks. So I just want to give it a summary,
Yeah, that's
so
what's
that you can
called,
see if you can live with yourself.
Yeah, I could, because that's
Okay.
what's called analyzing the situation and realizing that it was a mistake to think that we can impact the lives of people that way. And with Westminster Memorial Park, they indicated that they would be happy to take it. They would be happy to pay for the expense of maintaining it. $6,500 a month. It adds up. We're just having a conversation about how the economic situation that we're in. And here, that's what happened with the Vietnam War memorials, that committee paid for the maintenance for, I think it was 2 years, and then they disappeared. Imagine that this committee is going to be able to continue to endlessly fundraise forever, fundraise for the rest for generations, so we can maintain this monument.
As you heard staff, they're anywhere near ready, and the Memorial Park people might have mentioned that they're interested just so that they could speed up their permit. They're not even going to discuss about the location or a contract to have this this monument on site until they have received their permit. So they're really going to use this as to leverage their. And yes, they did. If you'd like to hear it from Adolfo again, and I believe I remember the timeline. Adolfo mentioned that 1.5 years before they're even ready, and then on top of that, you have to add another 3 months to 6 months for the construction permit, and so that's going to take us 2 years. So to think that we're trying not to drag this on, and we're asking them to build something, and we already gave the votes, all three, and then we said we're going to look into a park, and then all of a sudden you're going to, make them go get, move it somewhere onto a cemetery, and then you're going to make them wait for 2 years. And so, it's very unfair. It's
I'm
absolutely
only
unfair.
one
May I
vote.
ask
I'm only
Mr.
one
Adolfo?
vote, so-
Adolfo, am I not right when I mentioned that it's 1.5 years and then you add on another 3 months to 6 months? That's exactly what you said at the last meeting.
There's an ongoing general plan amendment process that started back in January. And
But nothing was done from January. From what I understand, I remember you saying nothing was done from January until now, no movement, nothing. So it doesn't mean that it's going to start moving again, or maybe there will be another delay.
the planning process is very much a back and forth game. And some of the times it's most of the time, half the time, it's out of city staff's hands. There's tasks that need to be completed by the applicant. So it's been a back and forth, as is with most development processes since January. A realistic estimate would be up to 1.5 years. That way we're not over promising. And then that would lead to a subsequent agreement and then a subsequent application for the actual inspection of the monument on the site. Again, back to planning, back to some more back and forth.
Right, so that's going to take us 2 years out. So that I just don't see how that can be fair. And if we want to put this matter to bed, we need to make a decision and find a park for it.
I'm only one vote, so.
Well, let me, allow me, I'm going to just say the exact same thing that I say in the last meeting. When we vote to cancel the last monument to be built in Freedom Park, okay? All the veterans was very happy because they did not want anything more built in the veteran park, in the Freedom Park. And at that time, we have council member that facing recall effort by the people who try to build the monument in Freedom Park. So the motivation was there, promise was made. Okay, you make all the community member become excited, have hope. You form a committee. You form a park committee. Unfortunately, it didn't have enough interest, and then it died. So, to me, your words is all you got. You promised the community this is what you want to do. Right, wrong, I don't know, but you did. We did. And I remember we taken photo with committee member and then people in the community worked on your behalf to fight the recall because they speak Vietnamese, and all the attack to the council member facing the recall was in Vietnamese. I remember I have to agenda an anti-fake news resolution to put an end to that. It's difficult. You know, it's a very difficult decision. But, you know, this is not the time to further divide this community. You know, we have done so much, we spend so much time on this. We talk for days and days and hours. And at the end of the day, you know, it's not right. I mean, you know, the community, the committee has been working so hard with opposition, and then finally have that approved. And they have raised money. They have hope. They are excited, and they never once mentioned what you promised, what we promised them. They never. I haven't heard anything from the member of the community. So, I mean, you know, we all have one vote. We all can cast the right vote, you know, according to what's right for us. Well, the community involve everybody. And a lot of people voice their support, and a lot also voice their opposition. So we got elected by the people, so we cannot make everybody happy. But this is, to me, this is not about the battle. To me, this is a legacy of our Vietnamese American. We were given an opportunity to settle here. And it's gonna be something that our younger generation are gonna look at and remember our legacy here, that we work with everybody, build something, so that it's not about the battles. To me, it's not about it is about a battle, but it's just something that we can look at and say, yeah, the Vietnamese American come here, contribute, make the contribution. And, you know, thanks the American people in this great city give us a small piece of land to build something so that we can remember our legacy. And to me, you know, I'll be grateful, yeah, to the resident of Westminster. We'll be able to do that. But you know, our words is all we got. We promised the community that we're gonna do this for them. Okay, then to me, you know, if we change this midstream, it's not right. Maybe you should table this until the next council meeting before we cast the votes, so we can have a chance to reflect. I don't want to point finger. I don't want to say anything that further divide the council as well as the community. We have those who support and those who oppose, and both sides very emotional. Same thing here on the city council.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, so I would make a motion to table this until the next meeting.
Before we
cast the votes.
vote, I just want to point out a fact that I have been supportive of this issue. I expressed my original wish, and I expressed that wish back then. But the fact of the matter is that when at the beginning of this process, at no time at all was there ever agreement about a public park at all. From the very get-go, there was never a conversation about a park. The committee was not tasked with a park recommendation. They were tasked with the design, and yet the committee spoke about and they also recommended a park that came out of that committee. So they did not stick to what they were assigned to do. And nobody on this council that I know of ever agreed to a particular, not even a park. The commitment that we made, the commitment that I made, and the support that I did was to create a platform for the ARVN veterans, Vietnam American veterans, and the community to have a platform for input and design. That was the promise that we made, and that promise was upheld.
You know, maybe you know, my memory didn't serve me right, but I remember that the council agreed not to build any more monument in the Freedom Park. And we decided to form a committee, park committee, to make recommendation for any monument that might be allowed to be built in any park, not just, except Freedom Park. So, but I, you know, knowing it now, comparing it before, the interest was of the people in the community was to be part of the Quantry Monument. They did not think that it's important to be in that park committee. And that's caused the problem, because when it's a decision to make the recommendation, we don't have that particular committee to make recommendation, and we pawn it off to Park and Recs, and who also refused to do it. So it ended up to the city council. So, and again, you know, just I think it's right now, it's just pointing this table until the next meeting, so that we can have clarity to think about what happened, and whatever happened, you know, whatever your votes.
But if I remember correctly, Councilmember Doe, we did have a recommendation from the Parks and Rec Commission. I think they mentioned the Civic Center. Correct me if I'm wrong, Vanessa, what was the recommendation? Civic Center, Memorial?
Yes, I think it was, and I believe I have it, private property, the Civic Center, or Westminster.
Memorial
Oh,
Park.
specifically Westminster Memorial, yes.
And that's where my those three recommendations is where I agreed with Westminster Memorial Park. I didn't come up with it. That wasn't something that I dreamed of.
It's understandable for the Park and Rec Commission to make those recommendations, because they was not the one who promised the community.
Correct. Agreed.
You know, and I don't blame the Park and Rec Commission for make that recommendation, because they care. They understand the importance of taking park space. They understand, they get it, but that they were not the council who make that promise to the community. You know, I'm not right now. I maintain the promise I make to the community, that I do not want any politicize the Freedom Park to build anything else in there, because it's been manipulated so much, and this might be the last one that we ever have in this city. So that I hope that answers your question, Vice Mayor Manzo. I make a motion to table this until next council meeting.
So I'm gonna jump in on the next meeting part. So next meeting, we're per the strategic plan, we're supposed to be talking about sales tax measure, which I would say that it would be a very fruitful discussion. And I would caution, you know, adding more to that particular agenda, because, you know, we do have additional city business. If the council does not wish to take any action today, I prefer that we continue this discussion today. But if not, I don't recommend that we go to the August 10th meeting, only because we have, you know, some very important topics to talk about.
Well, thank you, Madam City Manager. But next meeting, we just vote. There'll be no more discussions, just vote. So I think the council needs some time to have a clarity to cast a vote. So that's my motion.
Is there a second to that motion?
I want, if we're going to wait until next week or next meeting to vote, I really want to see if we can ask our either city manager or city attorney to go over the the videotape or the archive of what we talked about when we came up with the idea. It wasn't me, but came up with the idea about having a committee to look at all the park spaces. So that's still unclear not in my mind. We made the promise that it's going to be in a park. So I want that to be looked into. And
we just had a Parks and Rec director give us the information of what that.
Yeah, if I could clarify that, it was private land such as Westminster Memorial Park, a new pocket park on land potentially owned by the city, or the Civic Center. So the one I was missing was the pocket park.
Pocket park. Those were the task was for the Parks and Rec Commission to give us a recommendation, and those are the recommendations. We're following our own direction. The Parks and Rec Commission gave us their recommendation. There was never, that I remember, I could be wrong, that from the get-go, from the very beginning, there was never a conversation about a particular park or any park. The only conversation that I remember was that Councilmember Doe and I'm not sure about Councilmember Ho, but about not being at Freedom Park. That was the only conversation that I remember, that it was not going to be at Freedom Park. There's a moratorium on a Freedom Park for new statues or new monuments. So the Parks and Rec Commission gave us their recommendation, and that's where the idea of a private land Westminster Memorial Park came from.
And that was really the concession, to not have it at Freedom Park. And so now you got your concession, and then you're not giving, which is not right. We
Right,
did.
so Council, I know that this is the issue that we all really passionate about it, and member from the community, they really emotional about it. I think that we already witnessed many of our members from the community, they came up and spoke emotionally. And I mean, like, I believe five of us, we want to give our best services to serve the community, and we don't want to divide. We don't want to create any division among the community. So, Councilmember Doe, he recommend that we defer to the next meeting for everything be cooling off. I know that Councilmember Ho really passionate about that. I myself, and I think the rest of us, we really want to support. We want to honor the sacrifices of our men and women, of our South Vietnamese heroes. So I know that you're really passionate about it, but I'm not really sure whether or not you willing to defer to the next meeting. So it's still.
I'll second that.
All right. All right, so we have the motion and a second on the floor that we defer to the next meeting.
I'd like to make a substitute motion to that. As you mentioned, Mr. Mayor, that we witnesses that a lot of community members came out and talked passionately about it, one way or the other. And it's very difficult for us as council members or the mayor to make decision when there are split ideas or opinions. I personally think that, like I voted before, I personally think that the project is, the monument is very, very large, it's huge. Consider that this room is the monument. It's really big to have. And I know that the Park and Recs committee already recommend that, to reduce the size, but, anyway, we as a council already approved the design and the size of it at the last meeting. So I'm not going to talk about it. Again, I'm not opposed to the QT monument, but I would think that, it is a community project. And wherever you place it, it requires, it will negatively impact some of those surrounding people living around that. So I personally think that we should seek for the input from the community. So at this point here, I would think that we should go out and seek for the community, inputs. And then from there, I think that the councils, based on the community input, we can make a decision very, easily, and we don't have to worry about, whether we make a right decision or wrong decision or whatever it is. So I would like to make a substitute motion to have staff looking into this, and whether they want to do it in-house or they want to have a contractor to look at this to do the community inputs is up to them. But I think it's fair and it's the right thing to do, and we respect our residents and the community. That's my motion.
All right, I second that motion, because I think that the community input are really important. If we receive input from the community, that community really want to place the monument in any park. So I think that I myself will listen to the community. So this is what I stand. So we have the motion, we have the substitute motion and a second for substitute motion on the floor.
Yes, Mayor, so that,
Second,
All right, please.
so I just want to question Councilman Charlie Nguyen. Do you really support this, or you just lip service?
Have you ever heard that I said no? I don't support that this monument. Have you ever heard that? That's the answer for you.
Never vote for anything.
Well,
Abstain.
well, you can say whatever you want to say, but I said I am not
It's okay.
opposed to the QT monument. That's it.
So you're gonna vote if somebody make a motion to scrap this, you're gonna vote for it?
I don't understand why you're sitting in this council and you ask that question. I have to vote either one way or the other. However I vote is my vote. You have to respect my vote as I respect.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to see if you really care, because you make a lot of inquiries.
I refuse to answer any more questions.
abstain.
Let's go on.
All right, so City Council, I know that we want to serve the committee well, and it's kind of really late. So I hope that, we keep the meeting, like, okay? So we have the motion and a second on the floor.
yes, thank you, Mayor. So the substitute motion was made by Councilmember Nguyen, seconded by Mayor Ttha, and that is for staff to look into contractor or in-house to conduct community input meetings. Councilmember Doe?
Before we vote, I have a question. So how you're gonna, that's a motion to bring back again, a cost to what it would.
At this point, I feel like I'm just going to be hitting up the same consultants and just giving them a blanket, like, here are 3 different projects. So I
Need to bid on.
yeah.
Okay, so it's up to a city manager. The city manager can bring up all the options, and we go to decide what option to go. But I I want to honor the sacrifices of our men and women, and I want to honor all the work from the QT monument. I think that they have dedicated their time for, I think, more than a year. So I really want to honor that too. Yes. Committee input is kind of really appropriate at this moment. That's what I think.
Same here. I totally appreciate the QT committee for taking all the time and effort. Just because not voting the way you would want me to vote does not mean that I think any different. I respect each and every one of you, but have the utmost respect from each and every one of you. And that is where it's democracy. If you don't agree with that, if I'm going to continue to get threats of recall, then so be it. You know, if that's what you guys want to do, then do it. But you know, this is why we're here in America, for democracy. That's why we all chose to come here. Some of us came here in different scenarios, but this is why we're here, because of democracy. And so many men have fought and died for democracy, and we can't even uphold it here. Then what the heck are we doing?
I think we have enough discussion. I call for the vote.
So we have the motion in a second. Okay.
Councilmember Doe,
I abstain.
Councilmember Ho,
You know, I really feel that you're not sincere. I believe that this is just a way of maybe buying time or kicking the can down the road. So I really don't want to waste the city's money. So I would say no. Please don't. Be
Councilmember Nguyen,
respectful, please.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Manzo,
I didn't hear a vote from Councilmember Ho.
Say no.
then no.
I abstain.
Mayor Ta.
Yes.
So the motion fails. We have two yeses, one no by Councilmember Ho, and two abstentions.
I'd like to ask the city attorney for this outcome.
This is not a vote. Well, was there involving the expenditure of money?
No.
There's no expenditure of money, then a motion does not require a total of the majority. So in this case, you have 2 yes, 1 no, and 2 abstentions, I believe. Yeah. So in that situation, the motion would pass if there's no.
I changed my vote to no.
Okay. Well, in that situation, now the motion fails. We have 2
All
yes.
right, the
2
motion failed. All right.
So the original motion is a vote next,
Yeah.
before next meeting, just vote, no more comments.
All right. So we go back to the
Make the motion and
original
vote.
motion to defer to the next meeting. Am I correct? Okay. All right, we have the motion and a second.
Do we have a second on that?
Yes, we have a
Who seconded?
second
Okay.
motion.
Thank you. So that motion was made by Councilmember Doe, seconded by Councilmember Ho. Councilmember Ho? Councilmember Doe?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Ho?
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen?
Abstain.
Vice Mayor Manzo? Mayor Ta?
Abstain.
If this is abstains, then
In
it
this,
pass.
it would pass.
It would pass.
Okay.
On a 2 yes and 3 abstains? I think
Yes.
that's what yeah.
Yes.
All right. All right, so next item, we continue from last meeting, appointments to the Youth Committee for 22 to 23.
Motion.
Approve.
Second.
We have the motion and second.
The motion was made by Councilmember Ho, seconded by Vice Mayor Monzo. Councilmember Doe,
Yes.
Councilmember Ho,
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Monzo,
Yes.
Mayor Tom.
Yes. All
Motion
right,
carries.
next we have comment from city council agency members.
I'll go first. Just want to, once again, thank you, city staff, your hard work, stay up late. Yesterday, we got a chance to, yesterday, right? Yeah, okay, okay. Got the ribbon cutting at the park. Beautiful playground. It's a state of the art. The first shaded cover playground I ever seen. It's beautiful. Got a chance to try that zip line. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So again, it's a great job that our city that come together and get something really nice for the community. So it's a team effort. So thank you very much for everybody. So have a good night.
I'll go next. I want to echo Councilmember Doe's comments. That's an awesome new playground for the community. It had all the ADA, accessibility for the children and also the improvements at the bathrooms for those needing help, to get, use the restroom, the parking. That park came out really nice, and staff, everybody did an awesome job with that. And I look forward for our next park to go through the same transformation. And those are the things that give pride to our community, our residents, to see that. And we need to keep making investments in those types of projects in our city. That's something that benefits everybody. It just makes everybody feel good to have that. It just to be able to use that. I know this is for council, something to chew on, something to sleep on. We have a very important decision to make at our next meeting when it comes to allowing our residents to vote on something that's going to pretty much say if our community is going to survive or not. I'm going to say what I said again earlier. We up here, we need to show that with all this talk about the honoring those who fought and died in war, those men and now women stood up and fought for something they believed in. They stood up and you think they're not scared? They were there. Of course they're scared. Can't even imagine being in that situation. But here is council, because of any of us wanting to run for a re-election or election, that we here cannot stand up to lies. Folks are going to say whatever they're going to say about us. Each and every one of us has people that don't like, that they don't support us, and they're going to say what they're going to say. It doesn't matter what we do. If any of us vote that the sky is blue, they're going to say that it's red, and we didn't honor there. So we can't even have the courage to stand up to our political opponents with the lies that they make about us. What does that say about us? The lives of our communities at stake with our decisions. And we have a big decision to make our next meeting. As those veterans fought for freedom and democracy, let us fight for democracy here on this council and allow the residents to vote. The way the veterans fought for democracy in a battlefield, we can fight for democracy here on the dais. So thank you.
I can go next. Oh, okay, go ahead. Okay, First of all, I would like to thank you all for being here at this hour. I know that you care for the community. That's why you are here. And I appreciate for all those coming out and speak your mind. I would like to thank Vanessa Johnson as well as the Park and Recs Committee and our city staff for working really hard for a couple of events. Number one is the series of summer events that happen every Thursday. I enjoy that event. I know that people enjoy. You can see that many people came out and enjoyed the event. So that's say something about what we did is right for the people here. The second event is that I enjoy attending the ribbon cutting for the playground at the Westminster Park. It's marvelous. I want to thank you for that, for the hard work that you guys put in. And I know that you guys will continue to improve our parks, which our community needed. I appreciate that. Third, I have one request for the next meeting. If I would like to ask for the chief or the BUPD to give the council and also the community an update of what happened. The incident happened last week, the homeless murder case. I know that you've been working on that, and I think that there are some concern from the community, and I'd like to have an update for everybody to understand of what we did, and also calm down the community for the things that we take action on. And you can take credit for what you have been doing, and I think it's worth for you to spend a few minutes talking about it at the next council meeting. Thank you.
Okay, I'll go next. Yes, unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the ribbon cutting due to my mother's health. But I did get a preview from staff, Vanessa Johnson, namely, and I really appreciate, I was very, very much looking forward to that. But I know that the zip lining is going to be very popular. And I was very anxious to try it out to see how safe it is. I love zip lining. I remember going traveling, can't remember where, but my very first time trying it out, I was hooked after that. So when I learned at the preview that that was going in, I was like, oh, wow. So I'm going to come back and try it real soon. Yes, the every Thursday event, I hope everybody comes out to support. I know in the last two, we've had a very outpouring of support from the people, not just the people of the city of Westminster, but the surrounding cities as well. So that means people are really enjoying and looking forward to it. And I know this year we, as I heard from staff, correct me if I'm wrong, that we didn't have any sponsors, correct? And our city actually wanted to keep up with that tradition. And so we probably fork out all the expenses, but it's very worth it. Otherwise, we'd be disappointing a lot of people. So tomorrow being Thursday again, it's going to be a movie, right? Could I have the name of the movie?
Sing 2.
Sing 2?
Sing 2.
Boy, all these movies, is it a Disney movie?
I think it's Pixar. It's not Disney.
Oh.
Encanto was Disney.
Encanto, it's
Illumination. Yeah.
all right, so.
Animals sing. It's entertaining.
As the last movie was. Thank you so much for doing all that. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you.
So I want to thank member of the City Council, our city staff, and member from the community for being really patient. Right now it's already past midnight, so I want to thank everyone. And our next meeting will be on Wednesday, August 10, 2022 at 7 p.m. Meeting adjourned.
ai xui miệt ấy ghé về thăm. Bún cá phở quyên vẫn mãi thèm, hầm rục xương cá ngọt liệm, chả cá vàng tươi ngon giòn, nước lèo bốc khói thơm ngát, tương hành chanh ớt. Chị mời em ăn tô bún cá chứa chan tình người.
Xin mời quý vị đến với phở quyên, ăn một lần lại muốn ăn thêm. Phở quyên 714 896 0928 896 0928.